Bailey and Jesse, thank you so much for your time. Congratulations on the film and the series. It was really eye-opening because you think you're ready for a situation like that, especially for a lot of people who like to prep. But I don't know. It just seems like as soon as it happens, your brain goes into survival mode and everything probably you planned out doesn't necessarily go out the window, but it gets a lot more difficult. Um, First of all, can we talk a little bit about your characters and getting ready for them because you guys are veterans of ex Green Beret for Jeff. I'm not sure too much if Evan was in the same boat or the same group. But
Yeah.
you guys have a lot of experience that need to go right into action in a very, very tense situation.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll just jump right in and say, the job was very last minute, so there wasn't a lot of training going in. It
Yeah.
wasn't like,
Yep.
Taylor Sheridan, yeah, we're gonna, send you off with these SEALs for 3 months and get you all jocked up and get your kit perfect. It was like, no,
Yeah.
we need you in Utah tomorrow, and you're filming in 2 days. So
Yeah.
but again, we were all in to Homestead before we even got to Utah.
Mhm.
We all became fast friends. We're now extended family. But the cool thing was like boom, like that, everybody from the producer side, the creative side,
Mhm.
did everything they could do to support us. And so I got to hang out with real life Jeff, and he took us to the shooting range, and I got
Uh-huh.
to ask him, okay, well, what's it like, coming home from a mission? Like there's a transition and you don't normally get the time to go from,
Mhm.
heart of war to heart of peace. And now you're not on a mission, you're home and your dad and your
Yeah.
husband and,
Yeah.
boom, you had 12 hours to, shift. Um, and so having, access to someone like that who would candidly describe his experience, that helps a lot. So then
Yeah.
I'm a sponge and I'm taking it all in and taking it all in and then delivering a performance. And, we had the premiere
Yeah.
last night and it was, really, really emotional film. So I think y'all will
Yeah.
like it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he pretty much nailed it all. I mean, the second weekend we actually did start going out and start actual training. That was really helpful for me
Yeah.
because it gets in your body. Like it's something that has to be physically in you. First week I was a little like, ah man, how do I do the rifle? And it's like
Yeah.
we had
Yeah.
experience coming in, I think, as
Yeah.
individuals, but you're trying to make it really quick work well. And you're like, okay, do I look good? Is it right? How do you stand? How do you hold this thing? And then after going out and starting to shoot for a couple weekends and training for real of like, this is what you do, man, it just changes you. You're just like, okay, that's cool. Give him my stuff.
Yeah, you want it all to be second nature and fluid.
Yeah,
You don't have to think about it. Oh, this is here. You
yeah.
just want to grab it and have it be where it needs to
Hmm.
be. And that's something that, this guy Jeff was telling me. He's like, look, I got my go bag and then I got my kit. And I got a trunk that sits in my house and my whole family knows like, that's a do not touch. That's mine. And if it needs to be ready, it's ready if and when I need it. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah,
Well, even with the quick turnaround, it sounds like you guys got quite the experience, and honestly, it shows on screen. There's a lot of tension
thank
that
you.
goes through the film, a lot of tension between the two families. Can you talk a
Yeah.
little bit about the Eriksons versus the Rosses? I think one of the early on we see how you're like, just what is he doing on an ATV? He's like, that's just a neighbor. Don't even worry about it. It's like,
Yeah.
no, we need a perimeter. We need this. We need that. And
Yeah.
can you talk a little bit about the contrast between the two families? We'll see.
Yeah, yeah, no. Well, the Erickson home's a lot like my own home. My kids do not do that. They if I had a go bag, they would get in it. If I had a trunk, they'd pull stuff out and play with it. So, and Erickson's home is similar to that, where kids are kids, right? And Tyler who plays Abe, so that's our oldest, and so that's different than the younger kids. I have younger kids, at home, and so you'll see a more difficult dynamic play out with my teenage son in the film, and then it's
Hmm.
sweeter with the kids, but my daughter has a past that you'll learn about as well, and that's its own thing. But yeah, and then you've got, gosh, it's so polar opposite, and I'm thinking about the scene where they breach the subject of talking about God and praying, and it's so powerful. I can't wait for everyone to see it. But
Yeah.
in the Ross's home, everything seems a lot more structured, and they're a tighter family unit, because Ian's not going off to war and things like that, and God's influence is much stronger
Mhm.
in their house in the beginning of the film.
Jesse, can you talk a little bit about the benefits that audiences are going to have with getting to go see this in theaters and then continuing on to follow these characters in a series?
Well, for me personally, I think what I look for, how do I benefit when I go watch a movie? Well, I want to be entertained. I do, I want some of that in there.
Hmm.
I like a little challenge, and I love a little hope, and I like to be surprised. And so I think that we have all that in this. I think that you will be presented with a wide array of characters that you can choose from, right? You can choose all of them, you can choose one, wherever you start, up to you. And I also think that there's a lot of messages that are very important and real and resonate with everyone. It doesn't matter if you're atheist, you love Jesus. It doesn't matter if you're a plumber or a doctor, stay-at-home dad, you're an accountant. You can go watch this movie, and I believe that you will find something in your heart that you actually resonate with and is personal to you. And so it's a present. And I hope everybody goes and just kind of opens it up this holiday season and just has a look and just goes for the ride.
Present from Angel Studios.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and I love that it's with Angel, and anything that they put out, it's gonna have that at its core. It's
Yeah.
got, faith. It's
Yeah.
gonna put family
Yeah.
first. It's, anything they put out is something I'd be
Hmm.
happy to watch with my kids.
Absolutely. And what I appreciate is like I have young kids too. They've actually seen this.
Uh,
They can watch it, but it's not like watered down, and it's not like I'm not embarrassed to
Yeah,
to show this to people.
yeah.
Like and also, it's not like a church movie. It's not like, oh, you have to go to church to see this movie. It's you can't. I love that you can go to church and see this movie, but I love that like I got a lot of friends that were like, man, that looks really interesting.
Yeah.
And they're dynamic, interesting people, and they have different worldviews than me, and yet they're interested, and we can all come together and watch this film. So that's what really attracted me to it as well.
Yeah.
Because some projects, it has a very specific driven, like this is what it's for. And this kind of just opens that up and is like, oh man, you can present it to a lot of people.
Yeah, even my friends in LA at the premiere last night, and you know how the film ends, and they were like, "Oh my God, I love that ending so much." And I was like, "Well, if LA likes it, we're we're good."
Yeah, yeah, it's great that Angel Studios is able to make films like this where they don't water down the realities of life, but in the end are able to deliver a message of hope and
Mhm.
in a way maybe to get a conversation started with your friends and family in situations like this one where we hope we never have to be ready for. Bailey and Jesse, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. I appreciate your roles in the film, and I hope to chat with you again sometime.
Oh, thanks, Manny.
Thank you. God
Appreciate you.
bless.